So I've started the recording. Should we wait for a few more minutes or not required? People. Okay, we'll wait for 2 minutes. But by the way, how many of you have started solution architect or developer training academy? Anyone who have started?
Yeah, I have started and I have completed few topics. There
Okay,
are actually 21 topics. Developer,
okay,
developer foundation.
okay. So that's on
Yeah.
Excel activities and all the other activities, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay,
Strings, logging, variables.
nice. So is it easy for you to understand or is it tough?
Yeah, yeah, it's easy to understand,
Mm-hmm.
but I am going to the hands-on as well. They have given some hands-on at the end of each topic.
Okay.
So hands-on might be little tough, but can try it.
Let's just see it. Okay, so anyone attended any interviews so far?
Hi Vajrang.
Hey,
Uh,
this
I have attended uh, I have attended interview. That was actually the second round of interview. Actually, it went well.
oh,
We
great.
tomorrow.
So are we uploading
Today,
any inputs that we are discussing in the meeting? Not.
actually, they will give some task to do. In that, I applied your things like you have in the second day of the meeting you have given how to extract the data like element by element.
Mm, correct.
That part helped me a lot, like to get the things.
Nice.
Uh, yeah, that is how it helped me to get data easily. So yeah, a second round of interview is done. Maybe today or tomorrow I will get regarding the updates.
HR call might be the last one.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So what is the current package?
My current actually I started career in startup, so my package was 3 lakh. One there is one offer 4.2. I'm looking for the good one. Hello.
Yeah, yeah, got it.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. I think we are good to go. Only one person, someone joined as a guest. Just let me see it. Who's it? Please log in to join the meeting. If you're joining as guest, you may not be allowed from the lobby. Copy. Just pasting it to the team again. Okay. So, see, in the interviews, mainly they will not ask you too much about like they will ask you about projects, but they will not give you some very big project and they will not ask you to do it. They will give you simple tasks. A few tasks are like extraction of data or something like filtering of information from an Excel sheet and adding information. So most of the things that we have done is what we will get in the interviews as well. Okay, so let me just share you the screen. Are you able to see the screen?
Yeah.
Okay, so today we'll be discussing on three things: linear process and transactional process and iterative process. Okay, so teams. team notes. Not sure why this. July. Yeah, so we'll be working on RPA challenge in ReFramework, but before doing that, we'll be doing something on linear process, iterative process. Okay, so and transactional process. So any idea? Because this is something that you might have heard in any of the interview if you have attended. So any idea?
Sorry to inform Vajrang,
Mm,
like recording not started.
no, no, it's not Teams recording. You can continue. I started the recording. You continue. So any idea about linear process, iterative process, and transactional process?
Mm, yeah. So linear process is done one. It take input only once. It will just process the whole sequence. If in iterative process, it will take input every time.
Mm-hmm.
Take input process. Take input process.
Mm-hmm.
Take input process the transaction once
Mm-hmm.
again like
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in transaction process, um, yeah, like it will take the input, process that transaction.
Mm-hmm.
If it fails, it will again go to the next process.
Mm-hmm.
It will process that transaction like that. It will not stop
Mm-hmm.
if some particular transaction is failed.
Maybe see, transactional process and iterative process can be altered one to another, but the only thing is transactional process will deal with transactional items like one queue item, or there will be one item in the memory, like one queue item. Okay, and in linear
Okay.
process there will be one start. After starting, there will be only one transaction. Okay, after completing one transaction, it will stop. Here, start, check for transaction. If exist, then perform operation, perform process. Else, end. Okay, if perform process, then after completing performing process, go to step 1. Okay, now if you see here, iterative process will iterate like this. It will start, it will check for a new transaction, or it will have a dictionary, or you can say a data table. Okay, in that data table every row will be a transaction item, or it is a process should be completed on every row, like how we completed RPA challenge in the same way. Now transaction, yep. And after completing the process, it's again going to the step 1, like the for loop, it's going back, and if that there is new row, then coming back here, and at the end ending. Now here in queue item or transactional process will work, or queue item will be retrieved from orchestrator. Sometimes a row can also be a queue item, also be a transaction item. So it just meant that transactional process doesn't only deal with queue from orchestrator, but also even if we have the data, and if we are maintaining that as one transaction, we will be able to do it. So again, this is again an iterative process. The reason is, after completing one item, so after completing one item, are we checking with the next item or not? Next item. Okay, so this is about all three types of process, and linear process will be used when there is only one item that's coming in every time, and if that is completed, even if it is successful or failure, it will stop. Okay, if it is successful, then it will have a result. If it is failure, then we will send an exception and close, but other than, we will not go back. Okay, now let's see. Okay, so how many of you have completed RPA challenge? RPA challenge program. We have Kirtan, Kisan. We all guys completed, right?
I have completed.
Devendra also completed with
Yeah,
around
yeah.
2.116. That's nice, Devendra. And we have Kirtan also with 11821. That's very impressive times people are trying to bring in. So I'm not going with who's completing the best. But yeah, Kirtan, can you give me the code? I think you have already sent it to me. Can you give it over here? Just send it in the chat.
Yes, sir. One second. Yeah, I have sent it, sir.
In the chat?
Oh, no, one second. Yeah,
Okay. So I'll just add it to the current project and I'll extend. Okay. Is the screen visible for everyone?
Yeah.
Okay. Just replacing the file. Okay. Refresh. Main. Okay. So we have. Can you send me this Excel as well? XLSX sheet.
yes, sir. One second.
So you are using column set value. Set text. Nice way of
Yeah,
using.
initially I used not set text, type into only.
Yeah, but set text will
Second,
faster. This is used
yeah,
in web applications. That's fine.
yeah, I have sent it.
Okay,
Excel file.
let me put it up. Okay. Okay, let's start with this process. Let's see how things will move on. Run. So will this open if it is not open, and which browser are you using?
I used Chrome only.
Okay. Challenge.xlsx run file. Workbook does not exist.
Yeah, you need to change the path actually.
Yeah, that's right. So if I just give this one, this will be good. Thank you for that. Chrome not open. Okay, let's open Chrome. IPA challenge. Okay. Okay, let's run this one. So whatever we are trying to run now, is this a iterative process or a linear process?
Iterative.
Yes. So it entered in 9.16 milliseconds. I think my machine is very slow. Okay. Click properties. Okay, fine. So if we want to complete or convert this into ReFramework, then what should we do? We'll open new
Um,
studio.
we need to add data into the queue.
That's what. ReFramework is not only adding data into queue. So these are the important points that we need to see. Okay. What's happening? Okay. So we will have, there is something called MultiBot architecture. So can anyone tell me what is MultiBot architecture?
Yeah, Vajrang. Actually, so
Mm.
just consider that you have bulk amount of data like Excel data or something in a
Mm-hmm.
queue.
Mm-hmm.
So with one bot, you can able to finish in particular time. But if you are using multi-bot, your work will be simplified. The average processing time will be less. So that is what we go for an multi-bot.
Mm-hmm. So
Yeah,
can I say something like a process, or a process executed simultaneously?
with multiple bots. Yes,
Simul- okay, simultaneously, a process executed simultaneously on multiple machines working on different data. So will it work on same data or will it work on different data?
different data only. That's
Okay.
yes,
So
right.
here is something that we need to understand. In this particular architecture, there is also something called dispatcher and performer architecture. Dispatcher, performer architecture. So what is this dispatcher and performer architecture? What is dispatcher and performer architecture? Simple.
In dispatcher, we will add the data to queue. In performer, we will perform the process.
One correct thing. But remember one thing, dispatcher is not a bot that only adds data to queue. Can you give any other example which is not a dispatcher, like without adding items to queue, still it is called as a dispatcher bot? how, and give me an example.
Like Vajran, actually, so
Reading the data,
sorry, no, please go ahead.
reading the data.
Just if you read the data, then it will not be dispatcher bot, right?
Yeah.
Vajram, I guess like so dispatcher will be one of the main process we will call like sub process like we can execute in multiple bars like for adding one process we can use and for performing some application task or the main business role we can use the bot activity like picking the
Okay. So
work queue items and
how many of you have already worked with UiPath queues? Just raise the hand. Use hand raise option. Kirtan 1, 2. Only 2 members. Okay. See, in general scenarios, let's assume that there is a movie theater. Okay. Now in this movie theater, there is something called a ticket counter. Okay, and a screen to watch movie. Okay, if you don't take tickets from ticket counter, okay, I'm not talking about, okay, don't say answers like, okay, I'll book tickets on, and don't say like that. But normally in general terms, if you don't take a ticket to watch the movie, will you be able to watch the movie?
No.
Okay, now let's assume that this ticket counter is a dispatcher bot. Okay, so what normally happens in a ticket counter, there will be multiple movies, and one person will divide or will give movie tickets to person who want to watch it. Okay, now here in this particular example, if there is no dispatcher bot, or for example if there is no ticket counter, will a person be able to watch a movie? Okay, now
No, no.
great. Now here, this is where you just need to understand in general terms. Don't go into queues, don't go into everything and all. Now let's play a quick game. I think it's been a while since I have played this game. Maybe in the last team we haven't played it, but we will do something like this in this team. So I will just go with my Visio. This will be interesting. So though you will not, okay, how many of you know ReFramework? Raise the hand. Sanket, good. Kirtan, okay. Priyanka, good. Happy challenge. Okay, so I will add a new visual diagram, ReFramework. Okay, let's try to understand ReFramework in a different way. Okay, I'll just add a box, and I'll just add one more box. So just observe if this is something that you can, if you already know ReFramework, this is something that you can recheck it. Here this is called init process. Okay, and this is a block, by the way. Init process, this is get transaction item. Okay, now this is process, and the last one is end process. Okay, is is this visible for everyone?
Yeah.
I'll just try to increase it a bit so that you can hear. Yeah, now it is visible, I think. Okay, now let's assume that you are a part of init, or you are a part of init team. Few members are a part of get transaction team, and a few members are a part of process team, and few members are a part of end process team. Okay, so can we just have the names, please? Just give out names, whoever are available. And how many of three members have already completed ReFramework, right? Just give your name, please. Sanket,
Kirtan.
Chetan,
Kirtan.
Kirtan. Okay,
Kishan.
Shashank. Okay,
It's Kishan.
okay,
It's
Kishan,
Kishan
Kishan, Kishan.
Bajrang.
Okay, Kishan. Next,
Sanket.
Sanket. Okay, now, sorry. Okay, okay. Now let's go into get transaction item. Now in this get transaction item, let's take the names. Others, please tell your names. Three members.
Devendra.
Sorry, do we need to check it?
Priyanka.
Priyanka. Be active, guys. We just need to complete it quickly. This is again a game, so it will be interesting if you completed the rules. Priyanka. Okay. Fifth person.
Sai Kiran.
Sai Kiran. Sai Kiran, you also completed ReFramework?
No, actually, I just learned. I just
You don't know how to
have some
complete.
idea on.
Okay, fine. Okay,
Yeah.
next. Who's next? Naveen? Can I write your name?
Naveen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go with okay, and okay. Process now. Who's this person?
Shashank.
Shashank. 6, 7. Okay.
Ramesh.
Ramesh. Okay.
Shrikant.
9th. SREKNTH. Right. Okay. Now end process. 10. No one else? We should have one more person. D
Devendra.
is Devender. Okay, thanks, Devender.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, this is simple. We'll do something like this. Okay, there are a few steps, or you can take it as few rules for this. First one is there is a square, and let me just add a square. So we have some items like 1, 2, okay, or I can say it as A, S, D, F, G, H, I, J. Okay. So these are my items, and my requirement is, so this is the data that I have. Data, this is my complete data. I'll just take it up and add it to rectangle. This will be easier. Okay, now here I will start the bot. I'll start it with ellipse. So this is me. Okay, so what I will do, I will ask someone to start, and if you can see the arrows, you should follow the loop that's there in the arrows. Okay, init, then get transaction, and then process, and then end process. Here the rules are simple. Insert text box. Okay, so if alphabet is vowel, then throw business rule exception. Okay, next, if no, okay, just a second, I think I just need to add, just a second guys, I need to plug in my power cable. Now this is good. Okay, so this is the second item. Or the first item is add hello, or print the message, print the alphabet. Okay, so every time you need to pick only one item, and I will start the game, and others, what I'll do is I will pick one person from the team, and they need to start, and they can give the task to next person. Here init is that there are some tasks for init. Initializes the data and applications. Okay, get transaction item, get one item to process. Okay, and here process state, this task is show message with alphabet. Okay, end process, steps to stop the process, close the process. Okay, so this is what we will have. Okay, now here we go, I'll start and I will give the task to where can we give the task? Okay, I'll just add it a bit higher so that you can see it at single screen. Okay, now here we go. So what is the first item that will come in? I'm giving the task, I'm starting the robot, and I'm giving the task to Kishan. I can give the task to anyone, by the way, so you too can give the task to anyone.
Uh,
So Kishan, what do you need to do?
Here we need to read the data initially in its state.
Okay, so read all the, so I'm just writing the steps over here, just look at them. Okay, so first read all information from data.
And
Okay,
assign to some variable data.
okay, USM. Data table is not required. This is a list of items. Okay.
data type.
Okay, that's fine.
Uh,
Data. Then
After that, it will move to the get transaction state to
okay.
pick one by one.
Okay. So
Uh,
one. So you need not worry, or you need not have an idea what get transaction item should do.
okay.
Your task is just to give your
Mm,
loop to the next person, or next
okay.
next item in the target. Okay. So next, what's
Okay.
happening? Whom will you give it to in get transaction item?
Priyanka.
Priyanka. Okay, Priyanka, what's your task?
Just to get one item from the data table,
Okay.
and if it is successfully fetched, I have to pass it to the next
Okay.
state, that is process.
Okay. So pick one item and give it to process.
Uh, A to Shashank.
A. Okay. A to process state. Okay. So here to, what did we do? We just added. So here. Okay. So this is second from get transaction. Picked A and to process and sent to process. And why didn't you pick I, J, H? Why didn't you pick those?
If it is a queue based, it will get go with the first in, first out.
Irrespective of if it is queue based or if it is not queue based, you will always pick the first item. It will always be first come first serve. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And then let's start. Okay, who's next?
So I got A from the transaction, and it is a vowel.
It's given to Shashank, right? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, Shashank, tell me.
So I got A from the transaction item,
Mm-hmm. So irrespective of
and
you got it from where, you got A.
yes.
Okay. So what do you do?
Uh, so it is a vowel
Mm-hmm.
through the business requirement exception.
Throw business rule exception. That's fine.
Yeah.
So once you send it to business rule exception, then what happens?
Maybe printing it one.
Okay, that's a business rule exception. Leave it. Now, what's the next step?
Okay. Print the item.
Why do you need to print the item? When it is business rule exception, you should ignore that complete transaction. You should not proceed further.
Oh yeah. Yes. Then just end the process.
You should not end the process, Shashank.
Oh, then I will give it to Devendra.
Okay, Devender.
Yeah, we'll pick next item and then we'll check the.
Wrong, Devender. Why are you picking up next item? Your process is to close the process, nothing else.
No, so we have checked only one item as
Irrespective
A
of
only.
how many items you checked, do only your activity.
Okay.
So what do you do?
So we will close
Close the process.
the yeah, close the bot.
Okay. So if you observe now, by the way, this is not complete RE framework. If you observe now, what exactly have happened is, so this is something like this is something called a linear process. How many items did we pick?
Only
But
one.
So after
Only
completing one
one
item,
item.
what did we do? After completing one item,
We just ended the process.
yes, that's right. So this is where we need to add more details in whatever we are trying to do. Okay, now if this is the execution or if this is the process, then we will not be able to complete all the items, right?
Right.
Because only one item is completed, remaining items are pending. So let's assume that this is a linear process. So a linear process will be used only if there is only one item to be processed at a time, and if that is completed, if I need to start again, see, if I start again, then this A is deleted or A is completed. Okay, I will pick S now or the next item. Okay, now let's go and do the same thing. By this one, I will just add few more details. Okay, if this is successful, then go to get transaction item, but for some reason if this is a failure, then go to end process. Okay, now in the same way, in getting transaction item, if this is picking up one transaction item, that's fine, but if there is any exception in picking up one transaction item, then go ahead and end the process, because that will not give you any result. Okay, now from process I will, so after completing process we need to get one more item, right, to work on it. So what we will do, we will just go from process to get transaction item. So from where can we get new items?
Get
Get
transaction
transaction
item.
item.
Get transaction.
So if it is success, and if it is business rule exceptions, okay, so in both cases go to where?
Get transaction item.
Yes, get transaction item is where we will go. Okay, so just a second, I will just try to move it somewhere so that we can see it easily. Okay, now from get transaction item, if this is successful or if we got one item success, which means that we have one transaction item to process. Okay, so if it is if we got one transaction item to process, then we are processing the items. If we don't get one transaction item, then cannot process the items. Okay, so in the same way, I'm just going ahead and giving it to end process, this one. So what if this is, if let's assume that while working on some process there is a exception, like the application got closed or something like that happened, then what should we do?
Go to init state.
End process.
We should not end the process, because we have an option to go back to main, like for the first step, to restart the process. Okay, so what we will do, we will just go ahead and take it to init or init process. This is when system exception. Okay, so I'll just map these lines in different colors. So this is system exception, shape outline is red. Okay, now in business rule exception we have orange, yellow, or if it is a success item, then it is green. So this is just a color representation so that you can understand. Okay, now if you observe closely, okay, let's play the game again. Okay, this is where it gets interesting. So let's play this again. So I'll start the bot and I'm giving it to iterative process, or sorry, ReFramework. So started robot, and giving it to whom? I'll give it to Kirtan. Kirtan, what will you do? Now again, this is not
Uh,
completed yet.
yeah, yeah, read all the data
Okay,
again.
okay. So I while reading the data, there is a exception and you are not able to read the data.
Okay, then it will go to end state, end process.
Why?
Because it is an exception, and we have success and exception, right? If it is success, it will go to get transaction. It is the exception, it will go to end process.
Send to end process. Okay, so this is a condition when ReFramework initialization failed. Okay, so what happened? It tried to read the information, or some activity in it failed and it's not able to continue. So what is the next step it should do? It should go to end process, because even if the initialization itself failed, then you cannot continue further, right? Okay, so this is in it. So let's copy and paste. Okay, I will start the robot again. Now I will give it to Sanket. Sanket, what will you do?
Uh, Once again, I will read the data. Like I will initialize all these things. Like I will
So
read
you
the
will
data.
not read it once again, you will only read it once. It came into init and you're just reading the information, nothing, you're doing
Yeah, yeah.
nothing. Okay,
Once again, I will read like first fresh from fresh.
read information. There is no first come first serve. This is just reading information as it is. Okay, then whom will you give it to?
Sai Kiran.
Sai Kiran. Sai Kiran, why? Sai Kiran.
Because it got success. Like after I reading it, I can
Right.
see there is no exception I found.
But Sai Kiran is not okay. Sai Kiran isn't okay. Got it. Yeah, Sai Kiran.
Yeah, I will pick the first item. A.
Wrong. Okay, I'm throwing an exception now. Now there is a uh, system exception, or there is an exception, and now where will you go?
Um, I will send it to end process. Devender.
Move to get transaction. Okay, third one. So get transaction got failed, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now whom are you giving it to?
End process.
End process. So Devender, what will you do?
Devender.
I will simply close that.
Close all applications, close the process.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the condition when we are having exception in where?
Get transaction.
Get transaction.
Exactly, get transaction. Now let's take this again. ReFramework init failed, so this one is get transaction failed. Okay, now here we'll see with the next one. ReFramework. Now let's go ahead. I'll start the process and I'll give it to Kirtan.
Read all the data.
Read data. Okay, this is success now.
Then give it to Naveen.
Give to get transaction.
Get transaction, yes.
Naveen.
Yeah, we get the data A and assign to Ramesh.
Okay, great. So get A and assign to Ramesh. Okay, Ramesh.
I will check the condition it is alphabet or not. If it is alphabet,
I'm
I'm
throwing a
throwing business
business
rule
rule
exception.
exception here.
Yes, right.
Okay, then what should I do?
Uh, I need to pass it to if it is business rule exception. I'm passing it to Naveen actually because I need to get next item, right?
You need not get next item. You just need to send that
Then
to get transaction.
they went there. Then I end the process.
Why are you ending the process? If you observe, there is nothing from process. Okay, I just need to delete this one. But from
Okay.
process, you cannot go to end process.
Okay.
Yep. Now what will you do?
If I will pass it to main process, like uh,
You will not pass it to main process. You will just give it to get transaction item. Pick one person from get transaction item and give it.
I pick Priyanka.
Priyanka, what will you do?
Get the next transaction item from the data.
Mm-hmm.
That is
Data
this.
data. Yes. Okay. So pick this and you have given it to whom?
And the process is Shrikant.
Srikanth.
Since S is not a vowel, again,
I'm throwing a system
I,
exception over here.
right. So again, it goes back to get transaction item.
Wrong.
So
If there is a system exception, it means that you are not able to continue in this process.
right. Yeah.
Okay. So where will it go?
It
Huh? Sorry?
in it.
Yes. So we will go to init. Move to init. Okay. And whom are you assigning it to?
Ethan.
Ketan.
Yeah, I will read all the data.
Okay. So by the way, if you have understood, now we don't have yes or this is completed. Okay. And if we don't have an option to mark them as completed, then again we will start from 0. But we have an option to make it completed. So we are just understand that this is completed. Okay. You will read information, Kirtan. Okay.
Yeah, I will read the information
Yeah.
and
So
send it get transaction item.
send to get transaction item. Okay. 8th step. Whom are you sending it to?
Naveen.
Okay. Naveen.
Yeah, we'll read the data D and assign to Shashank.
D2 Sashank. Okay.
Yeah,
So Sashank,
So it will be a system exception.
it's not a system
It's
exception. See, I will throw system exceptions. You should not throw. Your process is,
okay.
your activity is to just perform.
Oh, okay. So then again, I'll initiate the process.
Why will you initiate the
I'll send
process?
it to some. It is D and it is not Google.
D is
So
not a novel.
yeah,
So what will you do?
to the business rule exception.
I didn't get you.
I cannot throw business rule exception.
But what is the thing that you need to do? Before business rule exception, what's there?
Print the alphabet.
So you need to print it, right?
Yeah,
Okay, what should you do? Process, print D.
print.
Print D. Okay, next where will you go? Where will you give?
Second.
Why will you give it to Sanket? Is it successful?
Again, you need to start.
Printing D is successful. Then where will you go?
Yes.
So if it is successful, where will you go?
Okay, transaction.
Okay. So if there is
I'll give it
business rule
to Naveen.
exception or success, go to get transaction only because you have enough resources
Okay.
to work. But if I'm throwing a business rule exception, it means that I don't want to continue with the transaction. But in case of system
Okay.
exceptions, you cannot do it because you don't have the required items to complete it.
Got it.
Okay, either the machine got failed or process got closed or application got shut down, anything. That's a system exception. Business rule exception is something where I as a business user will ask you to raise. Okay,
Uh,
whom are you giving it to in get transaction?
Naveen.
Naveen, tell me.
Yeah, I will get the data F and assign to Ramesh.
Okay, Ramesh,
Um,
what will you do?
Hello.
Yeah, Ramesh, tell me.
Yeah, yeah, Vajrang. Actually, so we will again check the business rule. It is vowel or not. In this case, it is not a vowel. It's F.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we will print it.
Okay.
Print F
Mm-hmm. It is
and
success.
give it to again the get transaction item to Cycran.
Okay.
I will get the next item G,
Okay.
um, and send it to Ramesh.
Ramesh.
Process them.
Yeah, Vajrang. Again, I check the condition. G is not a vowel, so I print the G and go for again get transaction item.
Okay.
Next item.
Okay. Next.
It's Naveen.
Mm-hmm. Naveen.
Yeah, I will get the data H
Mm-hmm.
and assign to Srikanth.
Srikanth.
So we'll actually print H here,
Mm-hmm.
then move back to get transaction item.
To whom?
Priyanka.
Priyanka.
Get transaction item I
Mm-hmm.
and pass to the process team Shashank.
Okay. Seshank.
So it is a vowel. So we'll throw the business rule exception
Mm-hmm.
and pass it to the get transaction Cyclen.
Nice.
Yeah. So I will get the next transaction item
Mm-hmm.
J
Mm-hmm.
and pass it to process Ramesh.
Okay. J to process.
Yeah, here I again check the condition. It is vowel or not. It is J. It is not vowel. So I again go to get transaction item
You did
to
not
Naveen.
print it, buddy. Why didn't you print it?
Hello.
You should print it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Yes, yes, right. Majan, sorry. Yeah, print the J
Okay.
and go for next item. Yeah, to Naveen.
Okay. 19. Naveen.
Yeah, there is no uh, data to get. I will assign to Devender to in process.
Nice. Devender.
Yeah, so I'll close that process.
Close the process. Okay. Now, did we complete all the items from the data that we need to complete or not?
No.
Why no? We have already completed, right? We started from A and we completed till J. So everything is completed.
For the S, we got the system exception. The transition is not completed, no?
That's right. But there is no I haven't initiated anything, but whatever you have said is right. So if there is system exception for s, it will go as a system exception, and next time if the data is again added, then we are reading it, but I have already marked it as completed. Whatever you have said is correct. Since we haven't completed s, that should be taken again. But what, as a business user, what I said is, try it once. If that is not working, go ahead and complete the next item. That will, whatever we missed will be processed manually. Okay.
Okay.
So all these are business conditions, all these are business rules, or this is the architecture that we are talking on. Okay. Now if you observe, how many lines of how many lines do we have? This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, okay, 5, 6, 7. How many lines do we have?
7.
7.
Right. So all the 7 lines are called as 7 lines are transition lines. There are 7 transition lines. Okay, these are not transactions, transition from one process to another process. If you are moving, these are 7 transition lines. Okay. Now how many states do we have? How many states do we have?
4.
5 stages: start, init,
Start
get
is not a
transaction.
stage. Start is not a stage or state. There are only 4
Three
states.
states
4 stages.
and one final state.
Yes. Okay. So if you are telling like that, okay, that's fine. So 3 normal states and 1 final state. So if you observe, from end process we are not going anywhere, right? We are going from here, we are sending the data, getting the data, sending the data in, taking the out. But from end process we cannot move into next state. Okay, just understand, end process is the final state from where you cannot move further. If you are coming to end state, that's when you need to close the process. Okay. So there are few more details to be mentioned. If you observe, Devender executed only when either from 2 states. Final state can be reached only from 2 states. What are those?
Init and get
You
transaction.
need a get transaction.
Only from 2 states, init and get transaction. Okay. Now process can be reached from how many states?
Only from get transaction.
Only get
Only
transaction.
only from get transaction item. Okay. Now get transaction item can be reached from how many states?
Init.
Uh, from init and from process.
Okay. But from init,
Pro- uh,
if
process.
it
Yeah.
is success, then move to get transaction. Okay. From process, if it is success, then get a new item. Okay, again from process, if it is business rule exception, then go to get transaction. Okay. Now just observe carefully what exactly and how things are moving in. Okay, now from process, what are the different stages? Okay, we have already got it, but from process there goes three lines, three transition lines. Okay, first one, success. If it is success, where it will go? From process state.
Get transaction.
Okay, next one, what is the next one?
Business rule exception.
BRE, where it will go?
Get
Get
transaction.
process.
Get transaction. Business rule exception will not go to init. Business rule exception, again we have data, we have everything, but we stopped the bot to run, so it should go and get the next item. Okay, next one, what is the third one? System exception. Now the
System exception.
robot failed. Now what it should do? Go to init and reinitialize.
Init.
Okay, now if you observe init, if there is no exception in any process, how many times will we execute init?
One time.
Okay, and if there is no exception in process and get transaction item, how many times do we go to end process?
One time.
Okay, now get
One time.
transaction item and process are like loop conditions, like get one item, process one item, get one item, get one item, process one item. So when there is any exception from get transaction item or init, then end the process. Okay, now is it understood, everyone? Is this something that is easy to understand now, or is it
Yes.
too tough to understand?
Actually easy.
Easy, right? That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. ReFramework is very easy. You just need to know how exactly and where exactly you need to move. That's it. Okay. So let's go back to our information notes. So we are almost done, I think, right? Oh, I think we completed 10 minutes extra. Okay. So what we will do, I will stop it for now. And by the way, did you enjoy the game we played?
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Cool. So
Yes.
that is actually ReFramework game that I normally play with everyone. So last team didn't get a chance. Now this team got it. Superb. So what we will do tomorrow, we will use this particular activities, or we will use this particular edit diagram, edit in Teams. Okay, we will use this and we will convert our existing whatever the code that we have, this one, this particular RP challenge into ReFramework. But before we do that, I'll just give one video for you to watch. Okay, using ReFramework with Datatable. Yeah, this is the one. So it hit 19,000 views. Nice. Okay, I'm just giving it. This will be helpful because tomorrow we'll be discussing mostly the same things. So just go ahead and listen this activity. Okay, this is again only for 38 minutes. So don't stop yourself from doing this. And also RP Developer Foundation, we definitely need to complete it. Okay. So close. You can go ahead and see the game. This will be useful. RPA challenge, short teams notes. Yeah. I'll upload the video. So any questions for today? I hope there are no questions, but if there are, please ask.
Bajrang, actually, so we use four stage, right? Actually, the three normal stage, one final stage, as per the discussion, right? So, where are the possible place we can use multiple bots? Like ReFrame in the beginning, we
See,
discussed about
multiple
multi-bot, right?
bots is completely different. ReFramework is not for multi-bots. ReFramework, till now, whatever we have discussed, we discussed on the structuring of the code, but we didn't discuss on multiple robots, right?
Okay, okay, got it. Yeah,
Okay,
because
in
we are saying like something assigning the one input to another stage, like something that misunderstood the concept. Maybe.
yes, so
I thought it might be
it
something
all the steps are
multiple
done.
parts.
All the steps are done only in one robot, in one process, one single process. Okay,
Okay,
now
okay,
if multiple bots are executing the same package, then both, like for example, I am asked to copy a file from one shared location to different shared location, and the same task is given to you too. So what we will normally do, we'll copy one file, paste it to a different location. You will also do simultaneously from my end, from your end as well.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yes,
so now the task is divided between two machines, but the process is same, right?
yes, right.
So RE framework is to structure your code. It's not used as a multi-bot architecture or anything. Multi-bot architecture is a completely different concept.
Okay,
Okay.
okay, got it.
Yes. Thank you. So tomorrow we'll discuss these RE framework on multi-bot architecture or anything. So this multi-bot arch.
Bajrang, quick
Yes.
question.
Yeah. Tell me.
So this RP UiPath uses RE framework for the development?
Okay.
Is that thing we can say?
No, actually.
So why RE framework exactly?
Why? Because uh, okay. Now in our code, did we write exception handling? Like for example, while executing, let's assume that while executing the fourth row, the bot closed. Okay. Now, did we write any condition or any exception here that will
No,
help us to restart the process?
no,
No, right? Now, did we write any place where how it should get information from orchestrator queue?
no.
So what actually happened is this is like a bootstrap, or you can say predefined code that you can modify for yourself, modify for your projects.
Okay,
RE framework is just a template. If you have
okay, can we
worked
use?
if you have worked with front end development, we have bootstrap, right?
Yes,
So is bootstrap a project?
no,
So it's a predefined code or pre-written code.
yes,
So once we add bootstrap into our code, we can use its functionalities. Whatever code it's already written, we can just use it, right?
yes,
In the same way, RE framework is also a template where we will add our code in it.
got it.
Okay. So that is the requirement or use for RE framework. And in enterprises, we need to have exception handling, we need to have logging, we need to have um, retry mechanisms, we need to make sure that the bot runs, right? If
Got it.
if we sit and work on each and every such activity, then 1 week of development time will go for 1 month of developmental work time. So instead of
Without
the,
RE framework.
yes, because there can be
Okay.
multiple exceptions, or we don't know where to log and how to log. We will not be like, okay, one more example. You didn't use RE framework, or you didn't use any template or any predefined template. You have written the code. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now yesterday I have asked you to use for each here and for each here. Someone will not work with this. Someone will use a while loop. Someone will do it
Okay,
with a do while loop. So everyone can do as per they want. But
Got it.
if there is a structure, and if I ask you to do only in that structure, then we will be able to identify where exactly the code is. Init will be available at only init stage. Get transaction will get only one item. Process will only work, will have all the code to execute. You cannot add something like adding the data or typing in into init state.
Okay.
Okay, so these are predefined
Yeah.
rules and predefined settings that we kept as a developer for ourselves. That's it.
Yeah, it is similar kind of thing we can say. Like RE framework is like Angular framework for
Yes,
JavaScript, and what we are
yes,
seeing right now on the screen is like a JavaScript, native
yes,
JavaScript. I can
exactly,
relate to the front
exactly.
end is.
Maybe
Okay.
Express framework or any frameworks.
Yeah.
It's a
Any frameworks.
it's a
Yeah.
predefined
Got
code.
it. Got it.
Okay, I'm stopping the